After falling about 2 weeks ago in College Station to Texas A&M, Tennessee turns around, hosts the Aggies, and wins in emphatic fashion. Final score, Tennessee 86, Texas A&M 51. I'm Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor. We're with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And it was really a three-headed monster that got the job done for Tennessee today. So I'm going to put you on the spot, all ready to get things started. Pick your MVP from tonight. Jonas Aidoo, double-double performance, 18 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Zakai Ziegler, 9 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, a point and a rebound away from a triple-double to go along with 4 steals and 0 turnovers. Or your leading scorer on the night, Dalton Knecht, 24 points and 7 rebounds.
I'm going to go with Zakai by the slimmest of margins. I mean, it's hard to argue that 14 assists. Obviously, the 0 turnovers. I mean, that's incredibly efficient basketball. That's winning basketball when your point guard, you know, a guy that you rely on a lot, plays games like that. You're not going to lose. And incredible performance by him. But Jonas Aidoo is right there as well, because Tennessee in this game 2 weeks ago just was embarrassed on the boards, and that doesn't happen with this Tennessee team a lot. I know they've really emphasized that. But for him to come out here today and kind of dominate the paint the way that he did was also worthy of an MVP performance, but I would have to give it to Zakai by a slim margin for sure.
Now, what I should have done is made this a Tyler Ivins segment, start, bench, cut.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you would start the Zakai Ziegler performance, bench the Zakai Ziegler, bench the Zakai Ziegler, start Zakai, bench Jonas, cut Dalton, which is saying something because Dalton Knecht, another great performance, 24 rebounds, or 24 points and 7 rebounds. For me, I'll switch Jonas and Zakai, though. I'll take what Jonas did in the paint. Really efficient night from him. When you're looking at his shooting percentages, 9 for 14 from the field. He was aggressive, but he was still efficient, and that's been something that he's maybe had to kind of pick one in the past. Is he going to be really aggressive and see those efficiency numbers drop, or is he going to maybe pass up some shot attempts you would like to see him take? Well, tonight he was aggressive, and the shots were falling, so really, you can't go wrong with any of the three.
Yeah.
But that is why you look at the final score and it's a 25-point margin, is because Tennessee had 3 guys that were virtually unstoppable all night. Another big reason Tennessee came away with this game, though, was the rebounding differential.
Yeah.
When you look back at the previous meeting, Texas A&M handled business on the glass. When you look at Ken Palm's stats, Texas A&M, the best rebounding team in the SEC. Well, tonight, Tennessee 50 boards, Texas A&M just 33. What were your thoughts on the difference kind of in the paint grabbing rebounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it goes back to that. That was kind of the most embarrassing factor for Tennessee in that game, because, you know, like we mentioned, this is a team that's kind of known for its toughness, a Tennessee team that's known for its toughness. That's a Rick Barnes team identity. And to go up there and be worked that way, I'm sure that was a big factor for them in motivating them for this game. And then you look at the 46 points in the paint. I mean, and obviously Jonas Aidoo leads the way there, but Tobe Awaka, you know, they went with that 2 big lineup against Missouri, and we're seeing Tobe Awaka become a guy who was struggling to stay on the floor because of foul trouble. Now the last couple of weeks, he's adding a 1-2 punch there next to Aidoo. I mean, it's been incredible to watch what those two have been able to do in the last couple of weeks. And again, if you're having, you know, I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point that Dalton's going to give you double digits, you know, every night. Like you said, 20. You know, he finishes with those points tonight, and we feel a little bit like, okay, well, we're kind of used to that at this point. But if he's giving you that, if Zakai's giving you that, what those two have been able to do and really assert their dominance tonight kind of puts on display that this team is just unbeatable when all that's clicking together. And
you're getting that at the same time now with Jonas and Tobe kind of playing side by side. We saw that again tonight in the first half in other parts of this game, where you're getting both of your really kind of hot-handed bigs on the court at the same time, and that's a big reason you're able to grab so many rebounds. Of course, the 14 boards for Aidoo is what stands out, but Tobe Awaka with 6 in his 16.5 minutes of play. We've seen him grab a lot more than that, it feels like, but still a good number considering kind of the role he played and how many minutes he played. When you have both of those guys clicking on the glass, on the floor at the same time, that's a tough task to out-rebound a team like that. Talked about the offensive production. We've talked about the rebounding. The defense was massive as well. Last time they played, Wade Taylor, the 4th candidate for SEC Player of the Year, had a really good first half. Cooled off a little bit in the second half, but still had a really high point total. And then it was Tyrese Radford leading the way in points, barely edging out Wade Taylor. Well, tonight they're both held to 11 points. Wade Taylor scores the first 9 of the game in the first half, and then doesn't score his second until the second half. They combined to shoot 7 for 28 from the field. There's a lot of Zakai Ziegler, there's a lot of Jemai Mashak on those guys, limiting what they were able to do. What were your thoughts on what Tennessee's defense did tonight to hold Texas A&M to just 51 points?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell, too, got them out of their element. I mean, that was obviously – it's not a good three-point shooting team, obviously, but they had a lot of success against Tennessee, and they were trying to kind of recapture that, I think, and maybe got a little bit going, a little momentum going there early. But, yeah, I mean, the defense was able to stop them, you know, create turnovers. And then, you know, one thing I thought was interesting when Buzz Williams talked, he said, what gets our offense rolling is offensive boards. And, you know, we talked about it. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the country, certainly in the SEC. And that was taken out of the game on the defensive end for Tennessee. Or Tennessee took that out of the game for them and just kind of threw them off from there. They weren't able to get anything going. So I think, again, going back to the rebounding, I know that's kind of, we're repeating that a lot, but I think that was kind of the edge tonight for Tennessee.
The win also marks number 800 for Rick Barnes in his coaching career, the 15th Division I men's basketball coach to hit that number. So rare air for the future Hall of Fame coach, Rick Barnes. Started this segment or this show with putting you on the spot. Going to end it with putting you on the spot. 1, 2, or 3 games that stand out during his tenure here at Tennessee that are some of maybe your favorite wins in the Rick Barnes era.
Oh, man. Gosh, you know, I think you'd have to go with the SEC tournament championship against Texas A&M,
same team,
against the same, you know, Buzz Williams down in Tampa, because Tennessee hadn't done it in almost 40 years. That was big, and kind of, you know, obviously Tennessee's trying to hopefully get past that threshold, that Final Four, which they've never done. But, you know, winning in a conference championship, Barnes will have that feather in his cap, you know, in his career. I would say that would have to be up there. Gosh, man, that's a tough question. My mind's trying to race back, and, you know, obviously beating Bama here last year was huge. How good that Alabama team was coming into the game. And then, you know, you've had some big wins over Gonzaga in those early tournaments, or you know, a couple years ago as well. Gosh, I don't know if I could pinpoint 3 right off the top.
Of course, you're missing like 7 that you'll never
exactly.
think of until you're driving home tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I should have said that one, but the Gonzaga one
absolutely.
in Arizona, neutral site, Admiral Schofield, big game. That one stands out to me. And then also Lamonte Turner, wasn't for an SEC championship, but I believe it was in the semifinals against Kentucky. Hits a big 3. That game always just, for whatever reason, stood out to me as well. But a very successful tenure for Rick Barnes here at Tennessee. And they're in position to make probably their deepest tournament run under Rick Barnes. 2 Sweet 16 so far. Can they get a second ever Elite 8 in program history? Can they make the first ever Final Four? There's just 4 games left here in the regular season against some of the top teams in the SEC. Tennessee wins out. They stand alone as SEC regular season champions. First time since, I believe it would be 2018 or 19 since they did that. Then an SEC tournament, and then it all comes down to March Madness. We'll have you covered throughout that entire saga, so head over to VolReport.com to get all of the content on this men's basketball team. Auburn up next, big one on Wednesday. LSU, the reigning national champions, coming from women's basketball here tomorrow, would be a signature win for Kelly Harper and company, trying to kind of secure your spot in the NCAA tournament field. Baseball looking for its first series sweep of the season over Albany, secured the series win today in dominating fashion. They can get their first sweep of the season. We have everything under the umbrella of Tennessee sports covered over at VolReport.com, so make sure you head to the description. Links to everything you need is right there. And thank you for watching.